Yeah, I am definitely more happy now that I saved this one for last, because had we ended on Echo, I would have been in an absolutely miserable mood. But thankfully, that wasn't the case, and I finally got to see this one. Almost a whole month too late, but point is, I have finally seen it. And, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna call it anything great or amazing, but it's really good. It is a step in the right direction for the MCU. You know, before they face Plan with Fantastic Four, but we'll save that when we get to that. But as for Marvelous May, this being the final of the reviews, we get to end on a pretty good note, man. And like I've said before, it's so nice to end on something good rather than a trash pile. You know, like we're gonna have to do a Karate May whenever I can bring myself to suffer through Karate Kid Legends. But for now, let's remain positive because this is the best film in Phase 5 so far. Easily. So, let's talk about it. Because there is a good bit to talk about here, even without going into spoilers. I keep these spoiler free, especially with new movies like this one. So, what's up? What's happening? What's going on? Everybody, welcome back to Animation Station. Yours is your favorite thing animation, including heroes assembling to defend the world, as well as TV and movies. I am your host, Jackson Small. Welcome one last time back to Marvelous May. Welcome to our final review of Marvelous May. Not the conclusion. Don't forget, we still have the giant tier list that I should be getting out tonight, as long as nothing else goes wrong. And we are ending off on a pretty good note because I just got back from watching Thunderbolts. Or New Avengers, whatever you want to call it. I'm still calling it Thunderbolts. Which surprised me. It's not that I had, any disinterest in this movie. I was always curious about it, mainly because of Yelena and Bucky. But at the same time, I was like, well, it's a movie that doesn't have any of the core characters from this MCU, pretty much. Has all the side characters coming together, reminiscent of Suicide Squad. And it features 3 of the worst side characters from Phase 4. So, you'd think all that would lead to disaster, but no, somehow they actually made it a lot better because they actually got a competent writer this time. So, without further ado or delay, here's my written review for Thunderbolts / New Avengers. Here we go. If you had told me that the best project in Phase 5 so far was a Suicide Squad knockoff pairing 2 of the best characters from Black Widow, those being Yelena and Red Guardian, and good old Bucky Barnes with 3 of the worst side characters from Phase 4, I would have laughed in your face and called immediate blasphemy. Yet here we are. Thunderbolts / New Avengers, whatever you want to call it, I'm still going to keep calling it Thunderbolts because I think it's a cooler name, is a very refreshing entry into the MCU that drastically improves the side characters from those previous failed projects and returns to the grounded, simple roots of its humble beginnings. That's the one thing I really like about this movie, right off the bat. It's not any over-the-top, wacky, multiversal nonsense. This is just a simple, straightforward movie about a ragtag team of anti-heroes coming together to save the world from a bigger threat. It's pretty much exactly like Avengers, in a way. Now, it's nowhere near the quality of Avengers, no, but it still has that general idea, and after going through so much multiversal nonsense in Phases 4 and 5, this was very, very refreshing. Acting is really good, especially Florence Pugh's Yelena, who is still great here. She was great in Black Widow, and she's still great here. And Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell, as a much better John Walker. They took John Walker and completely fixed everything that I disliked about his character from Falcon and Winter Soldier. And both steal every scene that they're in. The story is simple and straightforward. It's nothing too crazy, no multiversal crazy nonsense, just something simple, grounded, and easy to understand. The pacing is lightning fast, but doesn't feel rushed. I was having such a great time with this movie that I forgot even how long the movie was, because it just flew by, man. which is really, really nice. Character development is solid. It's not amazing by any means. Some get more development than others. Like, Bucky's kind of just here because he's Bucky, but other people, like Yelena, and especially, again, John Walker, get some really, really good character development. The action is pretty good, especially when all the Thunderbolts fight each other in the very beginning. Like, that one fight is the best part of the movie, because it's all the Thunderbolts using their abilities against each other. Now, they hadn't assembled and become the Thunderbolts yet, and this was excluding Bucky and Red Guardian, but it was still a pretty great fight, and they got rid of Taskmaster. Thank you. Thank you for just cutting off that thread. Humor is one of the best in years, excluding Deadpool, with some pretty hilarious, snarky one-liners. I was surprised how much I was laughing in this movie. Most of it was from Bucky, because, Bucky is always just full of one-liners, but surprisingly enough, even John had a few that had me laughing. Runtime is excellent at only 103 minutes, which totals to about an hour 50 minutes, which means this is under 2 hours. And the themes of trauma, survival, and mental health are really well done. And it makes sense considering that this was released on Mental Awareness Month. That's pretty cool. However, this movie's not perfect. It has a lot of problems. That being that Valentina is a terrible antagonist that gets zero repercussions for her actions. I hate this character. I hated her throughout the entire movie, and almost the entire movie I just wanted someone to either punch her in the face or for her to just shut up, because her dialogue, her character, it was terrible. Worst part of the entire movie. Everything having to do with Bob is stupid and feels really out of place. This is supposed to be a super grounded and straightforward movie, right? Why are we throwing in some random god-like character? Like, why? It makes no sense and it's very stupid. Rewatchability is low. I can't see myself rewatching this ever again, but I'm still glad that I saw it. And the final act is a mess, mainly because of how stupid everything surrounding Bob is. Overall, though, this was still a fun time and an absolute godsend after Brave New World sucked so hard. Sure, it's not a great movie, but considering how mediocre the MCU has been recently, again, excluding Deadpool, it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's a fun experience, and I'm glad the MCU took a break from multiversal nonsense to tell us something more grounded and focused. Very reminiscent of some of their earlier projects. Which I appreciated. And because I appreciated that, it all boils down to a strong final verdict for Thunderbolts of a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty good movie. I'm glad that I saw it, and it is one of the better entries in the MCU. But it is a one and done. It is a movie that you do kind of just watch to see what happens and then move on. But if you're someone that is attached to most of these characters, maybe you'll find more rewatchability in it. Me, I'm good at just one or two. I'm glad that I saw it, and it is one of the better entries in the MCU as of late. Now just watch them screw it all up in July, because man, does Fantastic Four not look promising at all. Yeah, Fantastic Four looks really, really boring. And the early reactions saying it has no character development is very, very alarming. So, naturally, it's more than likely that Superman is going to absolutely destroy it. And if it does end up being a bad movie, I will laugh in its face. But that is all I've got for now, and that is going to be the end of the review portion of Marvelous May. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for checking out all these MCU reviews with me. I hope they lived up to all your hype and then some. And I hope that my opinions didn't anger you too much. I do have some pretty hot takes, and I know I have some opinions that people really don't agree with. Like Echo, for example, which surprised me because I thought everyone hated that. But at the same time, it was just really cool to finally talk about Marvel for a month, because it's something I've wanted to do for a while, but I just haven't been able to find the right time to do it. But this year we finally did it, and I'm glad that we're done for the time being. Besides the tier list, which is coming up next. So, I'll see you guys next time for our live stream finale of Marvelous May with a giant, huge MCU tier list, which we will then update with each regular release. I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.
what comes up ahead.